The news landed like a bombshell. Broward School Superintendent Robert Runcie arrested. One perjury charge alleges he lied to a Florida grand jury in testimony a few weeks ago. School District Attorney Barbara Myrick also arrested on a charge she divulged secret grand jury proceedings to people in Broward and in Miami-Dade. That grand jury was impaneled by Governor Ron DeSantis to investigate school safety failures a year after the murders at Stoneman Douglas High School. Now, 2 of the 9 school board members are family members of those victims, and Debra Hixon is one. Her husband, Coach Chris, died a hero saving students that day. Debbie Hixon, great to have you this morning. We are grateful for your time.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
You know, when we spoke on Wednesday, you were surprised as anyone hearing the news of the arrest. Now that you've had a couple of days to digest it and maybe learn more, what is your understanding of the charges?
To be honest, I honestly don't know more than what we knew on Wednesday. We really haven't received information as to what exactly the charge of perjury is based on. So I'd love to tell you I have more information, but I really don't. I'm waiting to just, along with everyone else, to find out what the exact details around this are.
You know, I will say that Robert Runcie's attorneys are saying the same thing. The public, we have not gotten any more than I suppose you or they have. And that's, you know, that's problematic for reporting on this at the moment. But, you know, as a family member, you have been, like most of the other family members from Parkland, very critical of the superintendent over the past couple of years, especially where it comes to security policy and action and inaction. And as a board member, you're taking a much more balanced approach to this. Take us through that sort of balance that you're going through as you prepare to make decisions about the superintendent's future this week.
Well, you know, I'm now an elected official. It isn't about my own personal feelings. It's about what's right. Everyone is due their due process, and until it plays out, it's really hard to know what the end result is going to be. I would say that, you know, we're in step one of a long process here. And when we look at what happens to teachers who are in the situation or other employees, often we find alternate assignments for them until the whole system plays out and we find out whether they're guilty or not. Whether that's going to be what we pick or not, I don't know. We're not allowed to talk about it until Tuesday. But I am weighing all of the options and trying to make sure that what I decide to do is what's right for our district, for our students, for our staff, and for our community. So it isn't about what I personally believe. I'm not in that position. You know, I'm in a different position now. It has to be what the right thing is to do. So it weighs very heavy on my mind right now.
Of course, and we appreciate that sort of raw honesty of what you're going through. It's a really difficult position. You know, Governor Ron DeSantis had promised from day one, and even before he was inaugurated, he was promising accountability to the community, to the families, and, you know, right off the bat in his tenure, he suspended then Broward Sheriff Scott Israel. To this day, Scott Israel is adamantly denying he is responsible. The responsibility of Superintendent Robert Runcie, he handed to a grand jury. And so we have a community now who had a rally. A lot of community leaders had a rally for the superintendent. We have a community, a portion of the community, looking like this is a politically motivated arrest. I wonder if you're open to looking at that issue and considering that that may have something to do with this case.
Well, you know, when you think about what the grand jury is, the grand jury was selected across 3 different counties. There were people from Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. They're all different race, backgrounds. And they were arbitrarily selected just like any other jury is selected. So I know that there's a lot of talk around the political part of it, but when you look at who made up this grand jury and how they were selected, I'd like to believe that the process is going through the proper steps. And so, you know, like I said, he was indicted or charged, but now he'll have his day in court to decide whether he's truly guilty of the charges that they have brought around him. But I want to be very clear, when people are talking about accountability, the grand jury wasn't about what happened on February 14th. It may be about security that's happened afterwards, but I don't want people to get confused about we're seeking accountability for something that happened on February 14th and what is happening with this grand jury. So that's how I look at it. You can't mix the two. One may have come because of the other one, but the issues they're looking at weren't what happened on February 14th. They are what has happened afterwards, and then things with the bond. So, we have to stick with facts, and sometimes it's really hard when it is emotional, but that's really where I find myself at this point. The facts are, centered in what's happening now, not what happened on the 14th of February in 2018.
And actually, that's what our entire justice system is based upon, moving away the emotion and looking at the facts. The grand jury initially, to your point, was seated to determine, school security, and the money, some of the bond money that was earmarked or is earmarked for upgrades in the security and safety issues. It was broadened out a bit to look at other things. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Public Safety Commission had come up with some mandates for school security. Take us through, as a board member, district-wide, are those upgrades being made to your satisfaction? Is there an issue district-wide?
So they're being made. Most schools now have the single point of entry. There are other things that I feel are dragging. We do have a safety or security officer, whether it's an SRO or a guardian, in each of the schools. I would like to see the buzzers that work with the single point of entry moved quicker. There are some other issues that I've reached out in terms of just making sure not just security staff, but the staff in the schools know exactly what to do when a code red is called, or code black, or whatever the codes may be. It isn't just about an active shooter. So I feel some of those things are not done with the urgency that they should be. But I do believe that the district is moving forward, and that they have done a lot around security. They had a referendum that allowed them to change the structure and add more people. And all of that is, moving forward. So I believe they're moving forward. I would like to see it done with a greater sense of urgency.
Understood. Debra Hixon, great to have you with us. I am grateful for your time, and we'll be watching what you and your colleagues do on Tuesday.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thanks. You too.